Hey everybody, welcome back to another Deck Profile Friday. In this video, I'll be covering, my old Palkia VStar ASR Calyrex deck and, some of the changes that I've made to it, post Obsidian Flames. There wasn't really much in Obsidian Flames, by the way, that I'd even consider like putting in here. Like there may be a few interesting things, but none that I don't really think is worth putting in. At least not right now. The big one was probably the town store. Searching for that tool, so getting your choice belt right when you need it. Not too bad. And rhyme, the draw 3, make your opponent switch, right? Brassius, the shuffle your hand in and draw that many cards +1. That's interesting, but I feel like I got a pretty solid supporter lineup, and I don't really need any of it. So, so without further ado, let's get into it. So once again, the 2 Palkia VStar, 3 Palkia V. I really love this card. I think this card here is, honestly one of the best, cards ever printed. Obviously not as good as Arceus VStar, but I still think this is a crazy good card. So the V there, right? 220 HP. The VStar has 280. They both have the same weakness, which is lightning. Both have 0 resistance and both have 2 retreat cost. The first attack on the V, rule the region, search your deck for a stadium card and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck for a water, pretty cool. And then its second attack for 2 water and a colorless hydro break does 200. And then during your next turn, this Pokemon can't attack. Right? So I believe, I'm like when you switch, that obviously affects that. And then when you evolve that, I believe that nullifies that effect as well. So, and then you have the V-Star's attack, subspace swell up to 60, and then 20 more for each bench Pokemon. So if both benches are full, you're hitting for 260. And then it's V-Star power there, Star Portal. Alright, you can attach up to 3 water energy from your discard pile to your Pokemon, to your water Pokemon, pardon me, in any way you like. So it's another really, really good card. So next, we obviously have the Ice Rider line. Still 2-2. Right now, I am kind of considering maybe dropping the line maybe to a 1-1 for maybe like another tech of something, but more on that in a second. So they both have the same weakness, retreat cost, and resistance. 2 retreat, no resistance, weakness to metal. So another really good weakness in the format. All right, I'd probably say metal, fire, and grass are probably the best weaknesses to have. And then it is, the first attack on the V there, Pierce for a water does 40, cool. Glacial Lance, 2 water and a colorless 200, discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. But it's there for the VMax, Ride of the High King, 2 colorless, 10 damage plus 30 more for each of your opponent's bench. So this is great versus things like Lost Box, right? As you don't even have to max lance on their Comfies and stuff like that, right? You can just Ride of the High King. When they put up something big, right, like a Dragonite V or a Raikou V, right, then you max lance. So for 2 water, does 10 damage, and then you can discard up to 2 energy from this Pokemon. If you do, it does 120 more for each discarded. So 250 damage possibility, right? And that is kind of the big problem now, right? Is really the damage output, and this is one of the most damaging cards in the format right now, right? But the problem is just the amount of EXs that are starting to get played, right? Like you have Charizard EX, which has 330 HP, right? You have Gardevoir EX, which has 310 HP. A Choice Belt doesn't work on him, right? A Choice Belt only works on Vs. So you could use a Cleansing Gloves on the Gardevoir to hit 280, but you still can't one-hit KO it, right? And then there's lots of VMaxes still. You know, there's Umbreon VMax, there's Duraludon VMax, there's Single Strike Urshifu VMax, right? Urshifu versus Ice Rider Calyrex, right? That's back in 2021 format. When Evolving Skies happened, that was the big struggle, you know. Ice Rider, Single Strike, Leafeon, right? And then Jolteon as well, and Dragapult, right? That's what made up that format. And then you'd see hints of Eternatus here and there, right? And what 250 damage right now is just not enough for one-hit KOs, right? If you're looking for one-hit KOs with this, it's probably better to play Chien-Pao Excalibur, right? But the upside is that this thing's got 320 HP rather than Chien-Pao's 220, right? So it does make it a little bit more durable. And I do think it has a little bit better of a Lost Buck matchup. Lugia is pretty interesting, you know, for either build, Chien-Pao or Ice Rider. Chien-Pao, I think, can one-hit KO a Lugia a lot easier, right? Because it requires getting energy in play, and it searches the energy itself, whereas trying to get a Choice Belt can be pretty difficult, right? But on the plus side is Ice Rider can probably take a hit. Like, it would a Tyranitar would need 4 single strike energies, right, to one shot it. Or, you know, they would obviously have to get the Urshifu in play, right? The VMax, and, you know, really 3 energy, right? And because their last energy attachment or requirement is colorless, right? To knock it out for 330, because it does 270 plus 20 for each single strike energy, so 3, so 60, and then 330 when you add them, right? And so that could be a problem. So it just depends. I think this version's more durable, but it's great at going up against like basic Vs, like, you know, Entei V and the Charizard, Dragonite V, Raikou V, Miraidon EX, right? Zacian V and Gardevoir, right? Other, you know, like Lugia Vs, Arceus Vs, pretty much any basic V, this is really good against, right? So that's pretty cool. So that's Ice Rider, right? And then now we're going to get into some more support, right? Not attackers. We're going to go into support. We're still playing the Revavroom engine, right? So this is actually pretty good. Varoom there, 60 HP, 1 retreat, resistance to grass, and then weakness to fire. So that's pretty decent. Poison gas. I think this is probably the best one, the poison gas here. Your opponent's active is now poisoned. Pretty cool. And then the evolve form, 140 HP, 2 colorless, resistance to grass again, and weakness to fire. Rumbling Engine, its ability, that's why we play it. You can discard an energy card from your hand to use it, and then you draw cards until you have 6 in your hand. So that's just a nice little consistency boost, and you get energy into the discard, which means you can, play things like Melony, Melony to get the energy into play a lot quicker. That's attack there, knock away, 90. Flip a coin if heads, it does 90 more damage for a metal and 3 colorless. We don't use the attacks on Revavroom and Varoom, but it's still pretty good. Pretty good card. Tex. Something new I'm trying out. Chien-Pao, right? That's great against those decks that, like to hit, a high numbers or try to aggro you on the first turn. You just respond with a Chien-Pao, and then you Star Portal 3 energy to it, right? You attach an energy, right, from your hand, and if you Raihan another energy, right, you can get 300 pretty easily. Drapion for the Mew. This might actually come out because I think Mew, even though it won Worlds, is going to be kind of going down. Lumineon, search for that supporter that we need. Starmie V. So Starmie, I think, is really good versus Gardevoir. This attack does 50 damage for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. So this is the Gardevoir counter, right? It sucks that it's worth 2 prizes at 190 HP, but it does have that one-hit KO potential. Another big plus side is it gives the deck something that it doesn't have, which is a free retreater, which I really like. And then lastly, Radiant Greninja for the card draw, and Moonlight Shuriken to get the 90 snipe on 2 Pokemon. So great against the Charizard matchup if they don't play Manaphy, right? Gardevoir matchup against the, obviously Ralts, for the same reason if they don't play Manaphy. And that is it for the Pokemon. Just a slight update there. All right, I did take out the 2 Empoleons because I don't think Lost Box is really popular anymore. So I don't think that they're needed. Supporters, 3 Irida. Search for a water Pokemon and an item card. Melony, attach a water energy to your Pokemon V. If you do, draw 3 cards. 2 Boss. Gust. Arven, search your item and a tool. An Iono. Shuffle, draw. So I'm going to put it like this. Judge. Guys, we need a Judge. Professor's Research. Discard your hand, draw 7. Raihan. Great card. This is probably like, it's still one of my favorite cards. It's very underrated too. And then lastly, a Serena. Pardon me. So this is great because it's a discard effect, right? Meaning we can discard water energy and discard all the useless stuff in our hand to draw cards, right? So those battle VIP passes that we have later on, we can get rid of them. And then for our stadiums, still 2 Temple of Sinnoh, right? Now this stadium is debatable. You could play Lost City, right? Lost City is not bad. The problem is it's like you can't one-shot a Gardevoir EX, right? So this is the problem why I don't think Lost City is good in here. Like, you can't one-hit KO a Gardevoir EX, right? I know Arc variants, more specifically the Umbreon, right? They'll play Lost City because then they can just gust up the EX and knock it out with the Umbreon and then put it in the Lost Zone, right? Meaning they're down a Gardevoir line. right? That's a big play, right, that deck can do, right? Just because of the typing. We can't do that. We can't one-hit KO, right? A Chien-Pao Excalibur could probably play Lost City. I think Lost City would be a great stadium, but that could backfire on you because of the Chien-Paos, right, getting knocked out. Makes sense? And then the other stadium that you could do, you can maybe play beach courts, right? So that's pretty interesting. You know, the one less retreat, right? That's one of the problems with a Chien-Pao in here is the retreat cost. Like you can, promote it active, you get the ability, but unless you follow up with an escape rope, right, then it just gets stuck there, and then you kind of run out of steam, right? That's why I only put one in, right? So you need to really combo that. Like you really need to know what's in your deck and whether or not you can actually do that play. Path to the Peak, right? You can do that, right? Path, only stops. It really only stops Palkia and Palkia, Lumineon, and Greninja, right? The Palkia you're going to use like turn 2 typically, so that's fine. And then Greninja and Lumineon you'll probably use later in the game, but I'm sure you could probably get some value out of it first, and then before your opponent plays a counter stadium, allowing you to reuse those cards. Reuse the Greninja and the Lumineon, right? So I think you can still play that. Pokemon League Headquarters, one of the newer ones, and Town Star from Obsidian Flames. The one retreat cost for on basics, right? You can play that as your lost box counter, right? Pretty cool. And then Town Star searching for those tools. So those are a few options. So now we got the supporters and the stadiums done. So we'll get into the item cards. So the item cards stayed pretty much the same, right? 4 battle VIP pass, search for 2 basics on the first turn of the game, put them onto your bench. Ultra Ball, 4 of those, discard 2, search for any card. 3 Nest Ball, right? Put a basic onto your bench. So best set right here, right? Super consistent. 2 Choice Belt, extra 30 to V's. 2 Escape Rope, right? Both switch. Energy Search for an energy, and Hisuian Heavy Ball. Obviously look at your prizes and select a basic from there. Pretty cool. So these stayed the same, right? The one thing I might consider is just switching an escape rope for a switch, right? Because there's often times that you may not want to have your opponent switch. And then energies, 9 water, right? Usually we play 8 to 10 water. I like 9. I think 9's a perfect round number. Pretty cool. And that is the deck, everybody. So just a few changes. We might switch from Ice Rider to something else. Palkia Ice Rider with Revavroom. And the other thing too that I might try is, because we added the Chien-Pao, is maybe taking out a 1/1 Revavroom for a 1/1 Bibarel, right? Just so we can get both and not have to worry about that discard. So all right, so there you go, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, a comment, and obviously be subscribed to the channel, as everything helps. This is Deck Profile Friday. Stay tuned for opening Sunday, and then, you know, a few other videos in the upcoming weeks. And then lastly, don't you know, forget to obviously subscribe, as we got a big giveaway happening once we get 250 subscribers. So that will be super cool. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.